Okay, my friends, we're gonna start sitting. I actually went and got my meditation cushion. I was so serious about sitting today. I wanted to be as comfortable as possible. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. You do not have to have fancy yoga props to make this work. You can just have whatever you have around your house, like a cushion, a yoga block, something under your hips if that makes you feel more stable and increases your ability to sit for not a ton of time, but for a little bit more time. I'm Maeve. I'm so happy you're here. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Allow your eyes to soften. First order of business, just congratulate yourself for being here now. And second order of business, start to fine-tune your observational skills. And some tips in doing that, maybe notice the contact points of your body against the floor, or the block, the cushion, whatever you might be sitting on. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the strength of whatever is under you holding you up. Allow your mind to come to your breathing, noticing the quality, the length, the rhythm of the inhale, the quality, the length, the rhythm of the exhale. And then maybe how those two things play with each other, the in and the out, the filling, the emptying. And the moments between. You don't need to change or modify your breath at this moment. I think it's really important for us to be good with where we are at any given time without feeling the need to fix or change, just to be and to acknowledge, to see and feel. This act of observation, you might notice that the breath changes. Your body's position might change. It might not also, but it might, without you purposefully doing so. The act of putting attention on something often has an impact on what that thing is doing. So without even meaning to, the breath might have started to balance, and even more, it might have lengthened naturally. And if none of those things happen, that's good too. One more round of breath here. Really nice. And then if you have a yoga strap, please grab it now. And we're going to take the strap, we're going to put a really big loop in the strap. And if you don't have a strap, don't worry, you're fine without it, and I'll tell you what you're going to do instead. So you're just going to make a big loop with your strap. So just making the buckle. I like it pretty much as long as possible, unless you have a really, really long strap, then you can pull it in a little bit, so that you've got this nice big loop. We're going to lie down on our backs, and you can watch first if you want. I want the buckle to the side of you so that it's accessible. You're going to put the loop around the foot, and then we're going to bring the strap behind the head. And you've got this buckle here that you can tighten if you want, or if you need to loosen it up a little bit, you can as well. And you kind of have to find the sweet spot here. My strap is not a very long strap, so my leg is going to come in quite a bit, but you do not have to have your leg this far in. For me, I'm very comfortable here, and it's nice for me. Find a place where it's nice for you. And then you're pressing your foot gently into the strap, and your head is gently pressing back into the strap. So you've got this sort of balance between the leg and the head. And this gentle pressing from the back of the skull down is really nice to reverse that tech neck we're all experiencing in some form. Now your hands are free, so if you're not using a strap, you're just doing the same thing. Head is gently pressing into the floor instead of the strap, and you're supporting the leg. If you're using the strap, your hands are free. You're going to take your right thumb to the crease of the right hip. And you're just going to kind of dig in there and start to encourage this hip to gently move away from the right shoulder, and for this crease in the hip to deepen. And so while this is not passive, the energy put out is like 10, 15%. It's not aggressive in the slightest. It's just enough awareness that you're connected and not passive. Left leg is strong enough that it's stable. So we're leaning more to the side of ease than work here. Come back to your breath. And we're going to start to regulate the breath a little more now. So take a breath in and then exhale it out. With an inhale, we're going about 6 counts here. Your exhale is about 6 counts out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in. And breath out. Bend your knee, release your head. Keep the strap around this leg. I'm going to take my elbows kind of up and wide here. So same position, we've just released the head out. And then we're going to take the strap into the right hand. I'm going to take the right arm out to the right side, any amount. And you're just kind of gently allowing this leg to come across, but you've got this as like a counterbalance. We're not going very far. So I've only just barely crossed the plane of the left side of my body. And with the pressure on the strap from my arm and the pressure from the leg, I've just found this balance. It's almost like a moment of, a lengthened moment of inertia where you just sort of feel weightless between the two, if you can find that. Without me counting out the breath, you might just keep that 6-count rhythm flowing. When your mind wants to wander, it's a really nice place to come back to. Simple counting with a breath to keep you centered and engaged in that piece of your practice. Come back up to center. Release the strap. Just put it off to the side. I just dropped it on my face. I don't recommend doing that. Bring your left knee up to the right ankle. And just figure 4, or ankle to knee, or thread the needle, whatever you want to call it. But my preference is that you don't thread the needle. If you need to hold hamstring or knee, wonderful, go for it. If you can do so without, a little bit of work involved, but just see if you can create that same sort of balance where you're gently pressing away right and gently pulling in. If your hip is pretty tight, you might have an automatic sensation that you're pushing away, because that's like the reflex of the muscles to want to straighten back out. Bring the left foot back down. Keep this cross without pulling your left foot toward your hip, your right hip. You're just going to walk the left foot directly across, and then allow the right knee to just soften as much as it wants to. Left knee drops open. If this doesn't feel good, you can find any kind of an alternative that does feel good. Just kind of follow the path of feeling good. So both hips are in external rotation. Your right ankle is gently pressing into sort of the inner knee, inner thigh of the left leg. You're not forcing the right knee down. You're allowing gravity to do with it as it wants. Soften your jaw, soften your eyes. Start to lift the right knee up. Pull the right knee toward your chest, slide that left foot back over, and then just draw both knees into your chest. You can hug them in or just let them kind of float up, and your arms can stay at your side, whatever's better for you. And then finding your strap again. We'll set up the second side. So left foot comes in, right leg extends out. I like the buckle to the side so that you can control the length of the strap as needed. And then you might have to play with this a few times to kind of find what that sweet spot is on your head. And I don't like the buckle on my face. I don't recommend it. I would move it up a little bit so that it's not like pushing on your temple. And then we've got the same sort of push and pull here, kind of finding where you feel good. The foot is gently pressing, the head is gently pressing. The left thumb is going to come into the crease of the left hip. And then you're just encouraging a deepening there. Maybe the left hip moves gently away from the left shoulder. As your body acclimates to this position, you might need to make adjustments. Don't ignore those. Back to your breath yet again. as your thoughts come through your mind, you can greet them. If they need a little attention, go ahead, give them attention. If they don't, just greet them as if you were passing someone and you're ready to move on to the next thing, which is your breath. It's nice to see you. I'm going to move back to my breath. And you can do that in a way that's not necessarily dismissive. It's more of a, I love you, you're wonderful, but I'm going to come back to my breath. This conversation's more important. And last few breaths here. Start to soften the knee and slide your head out. And the strap comes into the left arm. So a lot of the time when we're bringing the leg across, I have you take the opposite hand. We're going to do the same arm because we're letting it act as a counterbalance. The arm, we're allowing this left arm to act as a counterbalance to this left leg. We're bringing the left leg a little over to the right. And my left leg just kind of clears the line of my body. That might be a different range of motion for you. It might be less, it might be more, but we're not trying to take a twist here. We're just getting into the outside of this left leg. So it's a pretty subtle movement, for me anyway. And draw back up with care. Take the strap off. Bend your left knee, bring the right knee up. If you need to support and hold, go for it. If you're fine here, stay here. Little pressure with the left shin forward, little pressure with the right knee in. Yes. Notice your cheeks, your lips, your jaw. Come back to your breath. Bring the right leg back down or the foot back down. I'm going to walk the right foot directly to the left, so without pulling it in toward the hip, and then allow the knees to just drop open. If something doesn't feel right, you adjust it so that it does. I can't tell you how to adjust that. I can give you some suggestions, but really it comes down to you. Maybe the left shin slides in front of the right shin. But if you follow your instincts, they're probably spot on. Notice your thoughts. Come back to your breath. Inhale, lift that left leg. Pull the knee in toward your chest. Pull the right knee in toward your chest. Just pause here. You can hug your knees if you want, or you can just let the knees kind of float in here. Left foot down, right thigh crosses on top of your left thigh. Push into your left foot, lift your left hip a little over to the right, drop your knees to the left. Right arm extends out to the right, or maybe a little up and out. Right shoulder heavy. Gently guide your right hip away from the right shoulder, away from your head. So lengthening out that right side. Carefully back through center. Right foot down, left leg crosses. Push into your right foot, lift your right hip over to the left slightly, and then drop the knees to the right and stretch the left arm out and maybe a little bit up. Allow the left shoulder to be heavy. Back to your breath. Bring your knees back through center. Release the leg. Make your way back up to sitting. And I'm going to ask that you sit exactly how we started. Okay, so if it's okay, sit exactly how we started, just so you have a sense of like how you felt when we started and how you feel now. Just come back to that same position. Notice the same things. Notice the foundation of your body. Anything that's in the floor or on a prop. Notice your spine, your breath. You might not feel different, but you might. We're going to set up here for alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Sodhana. It doesn't matter which fingers you use. I learned it. You curl in the index finger, middle finger, and you use your thumb and your ring finger. It doesn't matter if you use those fingers. You can use thumb and index finger, whatever feels good to you. I'm going to use my right hand, and I'm going to use this setup because that's how I learned it, and it's just how I do it. So it doesn't matter though. So take a breath in, and a nice big breath out. And then you're going to plug your right nostril with your right thumb. Inhale through the left. You're going to plug the left nostril and exhale through the right. Stay here. Inhale right. Switch. Exhale left. Stay here. Inhale left. Switch. Exhale right. Stay and inhale. Switch and exhale. Kind of let that be your mantra. Stay and inhale. Switch and exhale. And I'm going to let you go on your own now. You're going to finish on an exhale on the right nostril. And then you'll just release your hand and come back to a natural breath, natural rhythm of breath. Just notice if one nostril feels more dominant than the other. We switch dominance every few hours, and it affects how we feel. So the right nostril kind of activates us, the left one calms us. And that's why this practice is really beautiful, Nadi Sodhana, is it sort of balances us. You're giving each nostril its chance to shine. Never thought of nostrils shining, but there you go. We're going to move from here into hands and knees, please. You're going to have blocks handy if you have them. Always if you have them. A few rounds of cow and cat's breath. The inhale corresponds nicely with cow. And the exhale corresponds really nicely with cat. That doming of the belly, the hollowing, the emptying. Two more rounds. Come through neutral. Find your blocks if you've got them. Bring them toward the middle and the left side of your mat. And then bring your right foot forward so that you've got your blocks to the inside of your leg and you've got lots of support here. Beautiful. Straight arms are wonderful. If you feel comfortable, you can come down onto your forearms. Of course, if you don't need your blocks, it's cool too. You don't have to use them. But I don't want this to be a struggle at all. So I can get my forearms down to the ground. I don't want to say easily because it's never easy, but I can do it. But when I have this little bit of elevation, I feel a lot more supported and I can go to a place that's a little bit more relaxed rather than intense deepening. So I don't want it to be 100%. I want it to be like 50%. If it feels good, dig your right heel down, pick up the top of like the front of the foot, everything but the heel, and then turning from the hip, so not from the foot, turning from the hip, take the whole leg and open it out. If it doesn't feel good, you don't do it. And then keeping the ankle strong, if it feels okay, roll onto the pinky side of the right foot. So now you've dropped the whole leg out more. You're not keeping the leg where it is and rolling the ankle. You're taking the whole leg and moving it out wider. So you're going to keep that ankle really firm. Not everything I offer is going to feel good. You don't have to do it all. You can taste it, see if it's agreeing with you, and if not, just leave it behind. Start to engage the left hip, the glutes just a bit so that you really feel a nice opening in the front of that left hip. Good. Bring the knee back up slowly. Pick up the front of the foot. And then bring it back through center. So kind of back where we started from. Come up onto your hands. And then start to straighten the front leg and shift the hips back. And you can keep the foot wide for now. We're going to adjust this in a moment. So with the right leg a little to the right, as opposed to being square and neutral, we've got this little opening here. Dig the heel down, pull the toes back gently, and then lengthen the spine forward. So good. Yes. Use your back foot a little bit, so connect to the ground. If you want, you can take your right hand, bring it to the crease of this hip, and just like we did on our backs, maybe deepen this crease a bit. Good, rise up. Good. And then you're going to bring this right leg a little more neutral. So just kind of bring it through. And then slide your blocks back. And you can kind of adjust this however you need to. And then a little more classical Ardha Hanumanasana. This can stay exactly how it is. If you want, you can start to extend your right leg forward. And you've got the blocks here to support you. Push your back foot down. Engage the left glutes a bit. Use the blocks to lift the heart. Dig the right heel down. Ask the hamstring to be awake here, not passive or not here passively. Beautiful. You can take this as deep as you want. Back foot presses down and gently draws forward. Front foot presses down and gently draws back. Yes. Engage before you move. Push down. Draw the leg back. Bend the knee. And then just simply bring the right knee back. Take these blocks overhead. Well, it will be overhead in a moment. Sit the hips back, so forward. And then drop into child's pose with the hands supported on the blocks. Preferably the low or medium height. High would be a little bit much, probably, unless you're pretty tall. So with the blocks under the hands, we get a little more extension in the body. Press into the hands, rise up, and then slide the blocks over middle and right, and then left foot's going to come forward. So we got both blocks to the inside. Push into the back foot, engage the right hip a little bit. If you want, come down onto your forearms. Adjust the blocks where they feel right, where your spine's got length. Start to press into the left heel, and then the front 3/4 of that foot lift up, so you're just on the heel. Turn the foot open. You don't have to do it unless it feels good. And then if that feels good and you want to add that next element on, start to lift the foot as the leg goes open. So all that movement actually happened from the hip, and I cued it from the foot, but it's really happening from the hip. We're just freeing up the foot to pivot. But the action is coming from the hip. Check in with your breath. Start to bring the knee back up, pick up the foot, bring it back around through center. Come up onto your hands, and then start to straighten the left leg. You can keep the foot right where it is and just extend the spine. Maybe bring your left thumb to your left hip crease and just encourage that deepening there. Dig the left heel down, wake up the calf, wake up the hamstring. We're doing this gently, but it's intentional. It's not happening to you. You are creating the actions. Fantastic. And then rising up, you're going to bring that leg more through center and then frame the leg with your blocks. And then staying here or starting to take the leg forward any amount. Your arms can support you. Don't just collapse in your shoulders. Be strong here. And you can take it as deep as you want. Your front heel presses down and gently draws back. Your back foot presses down and gently draws forward. Yes, really well done. Beautiful. Notice your breath. We come out slowly, carefully. Engage. Push down to lift up. And then same thing coming into that extended child's pose. Hips back, arms overhead. Allow your hips to soften down. Allow your ears to fall between your biceps. Breathe your front ribs into your thighs. Breathe your back ribs to the sky. And then rise up. You can move your blocks off to the side. We're going to come into Sphinx. So forearms come down, hips come down, tops of the feet press down, and then draw the heart through. Start to lift the belly away from the ground, lengthen the low back. And the more you press the forearms down and draw them toward the back of your mat, you'll start to feel action in the shoulders, shoulder blades gently moving into the back body, front shoulders opening. Good. Press into the hands, lift the elbows, take them wide, and then take your right forearm, right in like a 90-degree angle, take that right arm out to the side. And we're going to roll onto the right side, gently. Press the right hand into the floor. Give a little pressure there. If you can, you'll stack your hips if that feels too intense, and you're just wherever it feels the right amount of pressure. And then if you want, you're going to slide your bottom leg, your bottom foot forward, and your top leg back. So like right leg goes away from your right arm and left leg goes away from your left arm. Like you're opening scissors. Start to bring the legs back together. One more breath here. And then soften and roll to center. Stack your hands, let your forehead rest on your hands. And then curl the heart up, cobra this time. Press the palms down, slide the hands back under the shoulders or by the ribs. Push the tops of the feet down, really, really nice. And then soften left arm. Your elbow goes straight out to the side, so that same right angle, like this, out to the side. And then turn onto your left side. Give some pressure into that left hand. Right hand is here to support you. I like releasing my head down. If you want, you can put like a pillow or something under there if that feels like it's too far away. And then if you feel good here, you stay. If you want to add a little extra, we're taking the bottom leg, the left foot, left leg, and just bringing it forward. And then the right leg goes back. It's like you're opening scissors. And then bring the legs back together. And come back through center. Stack the hands, forehead on your hands. And then pick up the chest, the head. Take the hands behind the hips, lace your fingers. Draw the knuckles toward your heels. Float the feet up, Shalabhasana. Release the hands, press up onto your hands and knees, and then rise up. Nicely done. You're gonna find your blocks. If you have 2 blocks, we're using them for a supported fish pose. So we've got a high block, we've got a low block. If you don't have blocks, but you have a foam roller, you could put a foam roller behind your shoulder blades. And then I like something supporting your head, but a lot of people like just having their neck free. So I'm gonna let you choose that. The setup is behind the shoulder blades and then head supported. And then arms open if it's good. And we're going to take Supta Baddha Konasana in the legs if that's good. If it's not, find something that is. Soften or close the eyes. I love watching the insides of my eyelids. Sometimes it's like a kaleidoscope. I kind of have to let my eyes go passive for that effect to take effect. That effect to take effect. Yet again, come back to your breath. Over and over again, we come back to our breath. last few breaths here. Draw the knees in. You can carefully lift up, or you can roll over to your side. And we're going to keep one block and bridge our hips. So lie down, bridge up, block under the sacrum, and then knees up, legs up. If you need your strap to make this more accessible, that's wonderful. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Start to lengthen out our exhales. So if you're still kind of residing in that 6 count inhale, beautiful. We're going to see if we can lengthen the exhale. First to 8, and then to 10, maybe 12. And I ask you to do that incrementally. You don't have to go right from a 6 count exhale to a 12 count exhale. Let it happen in stages so it feels really natural and easeful. One more breath here. And then you'll release your feet down to the ground. Stay on the block if it feels okay. Make sure the block's in a good position. If it feels like it's really high, maybe lower it down. If it feels like it's really low and you want a little bit more height, you can lift it up. And then if it's okay, you're going to straighten your legs. Try to keep your toes pointing toward the sky. I should say straighten the legs. I mean, you are, but really it's an extension. You're extending the legs long. They don't have to go to straight. Allow the block to lengthen your low back. Gently rebend the knees. Press your feet down, lift the hips to remove the block. Just place your hips down on the floor and pause here. With knees bent, take your right foot, bring it to the crease of your left hip. So right foot to the crease of your left hip, if you can get it up that high. If not, as high as you can get it. And then you're going to walk your left foot toward your right hip this time. So you could even reach down and find your foot with your right hand, and then let your knees drop. So half lotus here. If you're comfortable in full lotus, you can push the right knee down, pull this left foot in front, bring your foot in front. You can still hold the feet if it feels good. Don't force anything. If you feel solid here, maybe the arms come overhead. If the arms are overhead, reach back toward the legs. Maybe find the feet. Exhale to pull the legs back up. If you took full lotus, you can help the leg out. Bring the left foot back down to the ground. Right foot back down to the ground. Your knees are bent, your feet are flat. Just pause, receive that. I feel so crooked until I do the second side. And then take the left foot, bring it to the crease of the right hip if it can get that high. And then you can move the right foot toward your left hip. And you can hold both of the feet with your hands. And if you want, stay here. This is lovely. If you want to take this full, you take this right foot, you press the left knee away so you just slide the foot in front. You can still assist to get into it. If you can do it without your hands, fantastic. I am not there. Kind of just notice how this side feels. It probably doesn't feel the same as the first side. But if you do feel solid and you want, the arms can come up overhead. Just a little more extension, a little more spaciousness. Don't ignore sensation. If something needs attention, give it the attention it deserves. If that means coming out of this or adjusting it, please do so. If your arms are overhead, reach back up. You can find the feet, lift the legs up, and then gently release. Unravel it. Take a little pause, notice how that feels. And then finally, draw the knees wide, reach down, take your inner heels, inner ankles, and happy baby. If this doesn't feel good, maybe just knees to chest. It's a gentle push-pull. Hands and feet in opposition. And then gently release, extend the legs out, turn the palms to the sky, and allow yourself to melt here in a brief Shavasana. Eyes soften. Body takes on more weight. Breath is quiet, easy, and it just flows in and out without any effort. Allow the entire back of your body to become heavier. And notice your heels. Notice your calves, your hips, your shoulders, and the back of your head, backs of your hands, forearms, elbows. Allow all of that to take on more weight. Just melt down. Reach your arms overhead. Bend your knees, roll to your side gently, and then from your side, rise up to sitting. Once seated, bring your hands together in prayer at your heart. Bow your mind to your heart. Inhale, rise, eyes open gently. Thank you. Thanks for your practice. Thanks, you guys.